As an Olympic champion, how do I feel about the Enhanced Games? A new competition paying athletes lots of money to compete with the freedom to use drugs. Is it the future or is it wrong? How do I feel about Brett Hawke, the Enhanced Games head coach? Is he a hypocrite? How do I feel about Kristian Gkolomeev's new 50 freestyle world record? Will this new event be a huge success and revolutionize swimming? We're 1 year away from the games in Las Vegas, and there's a lot to wonder. In this podcast, I answer your most asked questions. I will respond to every single comment on this video. Leave a question or a comment down there below. Let's talk about it. All I ask is that you please be respectful. In my opinion, this conversation only gets better as we move through the podcast. The questions become more difficult. There is a lot to discuss, so sit back, let's get started.
Why are we giving this attention? Legit question. Our sport does not need this kind of publicity.
I've been asked this question a lot. Why give this the oxygen it needs to breathe from the people that really disagree with this? It would be stupid and kind of ridiculous not to talk about it because it is the most popular subject on every pool deck in the world right now. I've never in my career been asked more questions about any subject ever. How could you not talk about a competition that is offering athletes more money than they've ever been offered ever? You're getting offered $100,000 just to compete. $1 million if you set a record. Take the drug element aside. Like, that's crazy. That's bananas. You have to talk about that.
Would you compete?
No.
Do you think it's important for people to see both sides of this conflict?
Yes, I think so.
I think in order to understand anything fully, you have to see both sides.
This isn't just like a black and white thing. Like, a lot of people just say drugs, cheating, this is bad. There's like a lot of layers to this. We have literally 50 questions today that we're going to unpack. So there's a lot, but I do think it's important. And that's why Kristian Gkolomeev, I think that's how you say his name, the dude that set the enhanced world record, that broke Cesar Cielo's world record, his wife put out a statement that I thought was really good. And I actually have a number of people that I work out with at my gym that don't follow Olympic sports like at all. When they heard about the enhanced games, they were like, they thought it was ridiculous. They're like, this is stupid. I do not agree with it. And then they read this statement and it changed their minds. My husband, Kristian Gkolomeev, recently retired from traditional competitive swimming and made the bold decision to join the Enhanced Games. With the support of their team, he legally took doctor-prescribed performance-enhancing compounds and achieved the goal to break the world record in swimming. He did exactly that and earned a $1 million prize he was promised. It was a business decision, plain and simple. Kristian has been one of the best in the world in this race. He recently represented his 4th Olympic Games for Greece, placing 5th in the world in the 50 freestyle at the last 2 Olympicses. Since 2017, he has made every world championship final in this event. He's been at the top of the sport for years, not by luck, but by relentless work. For 13 years, he was in the WADA testing pool, required to report his location 365 days a year. Whether we were at home, at my parents in Texas, or traveling through Europe, we could be woken up at 6 a.m. by a knock on the door with a drug test. We know a lot about that.
They got us at Disney World.
Yeah, they got us at Disney World. And we were over and over again tested. Through all of this, the only performance enhancer he ever took was creatine. No state-of-the-art labs, no behind-the-scenes support, no shortcuts, just pure talent and grit. And for that, he was paid as little as $5,000 a year, even while ranked top 8 in the world. Then came Enhanced. And for the first time, Kristian was supported in the way an elite athlete should be. They pay him more in 1 month what he used to receive in an entire year. They care for him medically, emotionally, and financially. They treat us like family in every way, with transparency, dignity, and trust. To those questioning his health, Kristian isn't taking anything now. He took small, medically prescribed doses for 12 weeks under supervision, and he won't take anything again until next year's preparation begins. This isn't abuse. This isn't secrecy. This is a legal, transparent, and structured plan that was designed to help him perform, and it worked. Let's be clear, Kristian didn't break any rules. He is not doping. Everything he did was legal, medically supervised, and in line with the mission of Enhanced Games, to create a transparent platform where athletes are empowered, not punished. For safely maximizing their potential, Kristian made a business decision. And before you judge it, ask yourself honestly, why do you go to work? To get paid, to support your family, to be recognized for what you bring to the table. That's what a job is meant to do. Reward your effort, time, and skill. For over a decade, Kristian gave everything to a system that gave him almost nothing back. He trained harder than most people can imagine, followed every rule, and made it to the very top, only to earn less than a livable wage. Now he competes in a different arena, honestly, legally, and with the full transparency. And for the first time, he's being paid what he's worth. So what's more fair? An athlete who gives 13 years with little to no return, or one who competes in a new system that values him for what he's always been, one of the best in the world. I support Kristian completely, both as his wife and as a former competitive swimmer who knows exactly what this journey costs. He didn't cheat, he didn't lie, he did it right, and he earned everything he achieved.
As a wife, I can completely sympathize and understand where she's coming from. I mean, I've seen Cody for years, our entire relationship. All of the things that people don't see. I mean, people see him out on the deck. They know that he's probably going to practice. They probably know that he goes to the weight room. But I don't think people really realize how much goes on outside of the pool. And after hours, it's all the time. It's nonstop. Watching someone that you love go through all of these sacrifices only not to get paid what you feel they should. It's wild how much they go through.
She's 100% right.
Yeah.
Like you give your
So
whole life to something and you can't support yourself.
Right.
That's the biggest issue we have with the whole Olympic movement in general, is that they're making billions of dollars and almost none of it goes to the athletes. Every athlete feels like that's not right. But that's the system that we live in.
What would it take for you to participate in them?
It would take a life-changing amount of money. Obviously, there's been a lot of backlash and an expected response from the World Anti-Doping Agency, from Aqua. I still call them FINA, but from Aqua. Basically, they're saying there is a serious risk in taking part in the enhanced games. Not just as an athlete, but just in any way, shape, or form being directly involved in them. There's a statement, I'll put it right here. Even if you are not personally engaged in doping, affiliation with the enhanced games could significantly affect your ability to participate in the future competition. As an athlete, you're gambling your ability to do anything in the future by choosing to take part in this new...
Or being affiliated.
Yeah.
Would you join for $10 million?
I would join for $10 million. That's $10 million is a life-changing amount of money. Yeah. And I think like you put a lot of like Olympians or high-level swimmers on the spot, would you join for this? The easy answer in public is just to say no, because it's kind of the in the public side is the right answer to not be associated with drugs or cheating in any way. But the reality is like a life-changing amount of money is a life-changing amount of money.
One commenter feels that they are a disgrace and they should be banned.
A lot of people feel that way. And the reality is if you take part, you might be banned from every other form of competition.
What's Big Lil's take?
Okay. I feel there's only one person in the world that I feel comfortable speaking on their behalf because Lilly's like my little, our little sister. Lilly's like, this is dumb. You know, just dumb. But I will say I have messaged over 30 Olympic swimmers, most of whom are American, a lot of them are not, to get a pulse on how they feel about this. And it's fairly split. Like some of them just straight up, they're like, I don't like it. I think it's dumb. I think it's bad. The other half are kind of on the fence about it. And they probably wouldn't talk about it publicly at all if they were even remotely curious about it. Again, because you know, you're protecting your reputation. You're putting yourself at risk by doing that.
Do you think that enhanced games will bring more publicity to the sport of swimming?
I mean, in the short term right now, it already has. I've had more people outside the world of swimming ask me about this than like anything else before. That's part of the reason why we're talking about
controversy, so yeah.
Yeah, people like controversy. We were at our friend Yusuf El Kamash's wedding a few weeks ago. He's an Egyptian national team swimmer. And there I hung out with Brett. Hung out with Brett Hawk. And I was asking what he's been up to, and he's like, well, we've got this new swimming documentary coming out in a few weeks. It's going to ruffle some feathers. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, like it's going to cause a lot of controversy. I go, interesting. He didn't tell me what it was. I had no idea. I was like, whoa. And on that, I got a lot of, I don't know if I put a question here on this. I got a lot of people that asked me what I thought of the documentary. I thought it was fascinating. Take your opinion on the steroids and the drugs aside. The documentary itself as a documentary was well made. It was handsomely crafted. Like I said, I find it interesting.
Handsomely.
It was. It's like it had the quality of a Netflix documentary, of something that was highly produced. It was good.
Do you think it's good for the future of swimming?
I don't know. It's too early to tell. There's obviously a lot of downside, and we're going to talk about that.
Sports meant to stay clean and healthy.
I picked this question for a reason because sport meant to stay clean. I think the way to say that is sports are meant to stay fair. Like clean sport means everyone's competing on the same level. Healthy is interesting to me because like a lot of the major sports we watch are not healthy. Being a football player is not really healthy. You're getting your head banged around, the number of concussions, it's wear and tear on your body. It's brutal. Swimming is healthy.
Sports are wear and tear.
Right. But my point is, like, you are putting yourself at risk when you put yourself in a lot of those arenas. If you're a fighter, you're putting your body at risk. UFC is one of the biggest sports in the world.
If you continually swim and train at a high level, there is wear and tear on your body.
100%.
Like,
yes.
There's a healthy swimming where you're going out and like working out, like my kind of swimming now.
Yep.
But it's different than your competition where like your repetitive motions may have a knee injury. You may have a shoulder.
That's true.
Is this fair?
Well, I think it is fair, technically speaking, because if you compete in the enhanced games, you're allowed to take the sauce. You're allowed to juice up. You're allowed to take testosterone. You're allowed to take steroids. It's free reign. So like knowingly competing against people that are on juice, sure, that's fair. I guess then it becomes a question of like, well, who's on the best stuff, right? Like who's on the best juice? Like who's the most juiced up, right? Now, obviously, it's wrong and it's not fair under Aqua standards in the Olympic Games at the World Championships. Like anybody that. But in this circumstance, like,
but it's also like whose doctor is pushing the limits the most as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. That's a whole nother thing. It's like,
what do we tell the next generation who may idolize the idea of enhancements for sport? What do you think about the potential harm the games could have on young athletes? Do you think it's teaching young swimmers the right message?
This is the main concern that most people have. This is my biggest reservation and concern is what it says to the youth, what it says to the kids. Like that, it's legitimately scary.
This is the part of the reason that he asked me to be on this, because I have a strong opinion.
She went on a whole rant in the kitchen earlier. I was going to do this by myself, and I was like, why don't you just do this with me?
This scares the living daylights out of me. I've been a middle school teacher for a long time. I've coached at all levels, including collegiate athletes. I understand that the enhanced games are looked at all the time. They have doctors, they have their own team. I get that, and that's wonderful. However, when you're 15 or 14 or heck even younger than that, you're idolizing these people and you're like, oh, I can get my hands on that. But they don't have a team of doctors. They don't have people looking out for them and watching them. It's sending a message that it is okay at a young age, and it scares the living daylights out of me, honestly. And we don't know the harm that could happen if a 15-year-old starts taking this long term. Kids are impressionable, so this really scares.
It's concerning. Yeah. On one hand, like I believe in freedom. I think if you're an adult, you should be allowed to do whatever you want to do. If you're a gym rat and you want to try to deadlift 1,000 pounds and you want to take steroids to help put on muscle to do that, I think it's your right. I think you should be allowed to do that. If you're a swimmer and you say, you know what, I want to take some drugs and see if I can go super, super fast, I think you should be allowed to do that. And that's kind of what they're doing, just on like a very grand scale. Is that a dog hair or is that your hair?
No, I think it's yours.
Thoughts on reward money being considerably higher in the enhanced games versus the Olympics? This is the element that I love. I like, again, take your opinion on drugs out of the equation. I love the fact that there is an organization that's like, we're going to pay athletes a lot of money. Straight up.
Do you think that the Olympics will up their ante?
That's a great question.
Because it should. It should pay
only if the enhanced games is successful and it starts taking away some of their stars, but the Olympics aren't going anywhere.
No,
the Olympics
and they
are not
shouldn't.
going anywhere.
But you should be rewarded.
Dude, your legs are prickly. Oh my God, you're like a cactus. Okay, get back on topic. Stop it. Stop it. How do we motivate the next generation of swimmers if there isn't a big financial reward? My response to that would be, I didn't get into swimming for the money. I didn't want to be an Olympic athlete for the money.
I don't really think anyone that I know got it, like any high-level swimmer that I know got into it because they're like, I'm going to be a star.
The pinnacle of our sport right now is
money.
representing your country on the biggest stage possible at the Olympic Games. And that's a badge of honor that we wear proudly. That's why I have these rings, and that's why I have that on the wall. So it's got nothing to do with money.
Do you think this will continue to grow?
I don't know. It's too early to tell. I had a lot of people bring up the ISL, comparing it to the ISL, how the ISL kind of fizzled out and died. The difference between this and the ISL are the people that are funding it literally have more money than, like, they're the 1% of the 1%. They've got a lot of money. They can grow this and spend years building it if they choose to. as long as they have the athletes competing in it.
I think it'll get bigger than what it is now.
Well,
How big,
right now
no
it's
idea.
nothing. Right now it's literally nothing.
That's what I'm saying. I think it will get bigger. I just don't know how big.
I will also say that in terms of how they chose to launch this event was truly genius. The fact that they had these time trial events in secret and they broke these world records. We're going to get into whether or not they're legitimate world records, how I feel about that. But that they did this and then they showcased that at this live event in Las Vegas saying like, look, this is what's possible. This is what we're doing. We gave this guy $1 million. That's why there's all this press and publicity. That's why everybody's talking about it. It was pretty, like their marketing team is doing a good job. It's doing good. It just is.
Moving on. What would have been the motivation for Brett Hawk to become head coach?
Number one, money. They offered him $250,000 a year to be the coach. And there are very few coaching positions that pay that. Like, less than 6. There's not very many. There's not very many.
Probably also in the element of like it being new.
Yeah, I'd also say like Brett he's not, I don't want to use the word contrarian, but he's controversial and he likes that. Like he likes edgy. I even talked to him about that at least as well. Like he likes a little bit of the controversy and the edge. And so I think that there's a part of him that likes that. I also think that there's a part of him that really believes that this is the future, and money. I think that it's a number of things.
Ooh. Why is Brett Hawk such a hypocrite? Remember his rant against Pan last year.
Okay, so context, the Chinese 100 freestyler Pan set the world record in the Olympic final and like dominated the field. And I didn't see the video, but I guess Brett went on a rant about how it wasn't possible. And my understanding is, I could be wrong, like I said, I didn't see it, but my understanding is he basically said everything except this guy cheated. Like he insinuated it.
Yeah.
And so is he a hypocrite for now coaching athletes that are taking drugs? Objectively, I think it's funny. Like objectively, it's like, I think it's kind of hilarious. I think Brett would think it's funny too. He has a good sense of humor. But like he does, like he's a goofy guy. Like feel however you want to feel about Brett. Like he's a goofy dude. But does this make him a hypocrite? In my opinion, it doesn't. Because again, in this league, there are no rules. Whereas at the Olympic Games, like you can't be on drugs. And if he thought that guy was on drugs, I guess it's his right to say that. What is your
opinion on Brett Hawk joining the enhanced games as head coach?
I will say,
but
I have something else to say. As far as choosing a head coach for this, you kind of picked the right guy because there's a line in the documentary. Allie didn't watch the documentary.
No, I did not.
There's a line in the documentary where the narrator says, "We have the best swim coach to ever live, Brett Hawk." And okay, nothing against Brett, but I kind of laughed. I kind of laughed at that because I'm like, okay, on the Mount Rushmore of best coaches in the world, I don't think Brett is on that. Sorry, Eddie Reese, Doc Councilman, Bob Bowman. You could list off a lot of other coaches that have, I'm sorry, a lot more accomplishments. However, I will say, if you're looking for someone to coach just a sprinter or a 50 freestyler, there are 3 people in the world, they said this in the documentary, and it's true. There's 3 people in the world that have broken 21 seconds in the long course 50 freestyle. All 3 of them were coached by Brett Hawk. Brett Hawk has coached a lot of good swimmers. He's a very good coach. And so, again, with them launching with the sprint events, he was probably the right guy for them to get.
Yeah.
For a lot of different reasons.
Why would Magnusen destroy his reputation as one of the best of his time by giving in to basic cheating?
He went into this knowing that it was going to, at the very least, change his reputation. And I think that...
I don't think he went in there intending to be I'm going to destroy my reputation by doing this.
But he did, though. He had to know. Because
things would change.
This whole thing kind of started
or that there was going to be controversy. He had to have known that there would be controversy, just as much as Brett Hawk would have.
Also, to be clear, I don't think James is a cheater. He swam his whole career and never had a failed drug test. I don't think he ever did anything illegal. And the clips going around on the internet of him in 2013 behind the blocks versus him this year, it's again, objectively, it's kind of hilarious because he's so big. It's just so funny. But he didn't cheat because he didn't compete against anybody else. There were no rules. So it's just... It's really funny.
Are there age limits?
This is a great question. There's gotta be.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything on the website, but there's gotta be an age limit of 18.
Wow. Wow, 18's young.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, at minimum, you can buy alcohol, you can smoke, you can join the army, you can...
You can't buy alcohol at 18?
Sorry, right. Most parts of the world...
Oh my goodness! What were you doing?
Most parts of the world...
What were you doing?
Most parts of the world, you can buy alcohol at 18, Allie. Not here in America.
Definitely not.
Okay.
You just now can buy alcohol
I'm saying,
on
I'm saying 18 is, like, genuinely when you consider people an adult. Do I think 18 is too young to do a lot of stuff? Yeah.
That actually raised me for my own two boys who are pretty impulsive
you know what I mean.
competitive.
You know what I mean.
What do you think the purpose of these games are?
The purpose is to create entertainment and make money. They're doing this to make money. That's what they're doing. They're literally doing this to make money. The Olympic Games is a money-making operation.
Well, and also, we talked about this earlier, when high-level swimmers get out of the sport, I mean, your kind of whole life is built up to the pinnacle of the Olympics and things like that, and then what do you do after? What do you do after when you retire when literally your entire life was swimming? Many athletes, like, swimming is your sport. That it's not just your sport, it's your livelihood, it's your job, it's your life. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of gives, just like the ISL did, kind of that gave, the ISL was something that people could do after. I assume that's maybe what Magnusen felt as, like, hey, this would be my next step to, like, be successful in life, or not necessarily.
I think Magnusen
life,
thought he could do it. Yeah, I think he thought I could break the world record, and I think he probably still thinks that, which is why
probably not, like, he didn't have to retire. He can still do what he enjoys doing.
Again, a part of the long-term health consequences, however you feel about those things aside, these drugs will allow athletes to compete at later ages. Like
30 is no longer old.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, you're like a dinosaur over there.
Stop it.
How bad will this be for the athlete's long-term health? Solid question.
No way to know. You know,
Everybody would be different.
They claim that there's going to be safety things in place, and they're going to look after the athletes. And but the reality is, this is another thing that we talked about in the kitchen, and Allie got really heated about, is that the reality is when there's a lot of money on the line, people are willing to do a lot of things. So, like, there are going to be people that probably get a little crazy. That's just to be expected, and a lot of people don't want that.
And by heated, I'm just opinionated.
She's very passionate. She's keeping it together right now, but you're very passionate.
Do they have any safety policies in place to protect the athletes? Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you, Vinny, for bringing that up.
Says protecting athletes is our top priority. Every competitor will undergo rigorous, state-of-the-art medical profiling before participating in the competition.
That's the only thing that's on the website. So
well, I don't know what that means exactly fully.
It means that they're gonna check your heart and check all your health markers before you compete. You know, like if you're.
Well, I got that, but, like, how intense, how detailed is it? Is my question.
I'm sure they'll talk about that.
How can you consciously kill your body for an unfair fight?
Well, I disagree with the premise of the question that it's an unfair fight, because if you're competing in the enhanced games, you're going into it understanding that there are people on drugs, and you can do those drugs. They also made it very clear in the panel, in the announcement, that you don't have to be on drugs to compete in the enhanced games. You can not take anything illegal, show up and compete, and they'll give you $100,000. Like, straight up. Now, again, there's still the risk of being banned from every other competition by taking part in the enhanced games, but, like, you don't have to do any pharmaceutical supplements, but you will be at a disadvantage.
Do you think it will take away viewership from Olympic and World Aquatic events?
No.
No.
The Olympics aren't going anywhere. Like, it's a juggernaut. It's like.
Well, I think the Olympics and the World Aquatic events, why they're so popular and important, are because it's the country. Like, it's pride.
Yeah, it's pride.
Right.
Now, maybe if this thing is a success and it takes off, and in 10 years that could be a question. But right now, like. It's not going.
I mean, if you have ever been in any arena at the Olympics, it's unreal. When I was in Brazil for Cody swimming, anytime a Brazilian got up on the block, it was the entire. I mean, I still get chills. The entire place erupted. It was like the whole house was coming down. It's pride. It's pride. So no, I don't think so. Will the money aspect influence professional swimmers around the world to participate?
That's the question. A lot of the success of this new event is predicated on, like, well, how many athletes are they going to get? You know, because, like, right now there's like 4 or 5 guys. There's no girls that have been announced yet. Obviously, they're recruiting and they're reaching out to athletes that they're trying to get people.
I do think the money aspect will influence.
It was some. Yeah, some will. Like look at Kristian. Kristian was 5th in the world for many, many years and was like, there's a big payday, I'm going to take this risk. Other people will do that.
Yeah. Are there a lot of athletes going to make the switch to the enhanced games?
I like the verbiage, the switch, because the likelihood of you being able to compete in the enhanced games and literally anything else is pretty slim. Like it's probably not, it's going to be one or the other. Yeah.
Do you think this is going to take away from the beauty of the sport? I do.
Go ahead. Preach, woman, preach. She went on a whole tirade in the kitchen about this.
I think the beauty of the sport is working hard and figuring out what works for you to be successful. Like, I think that Cody's journey, while at times was a little annoying because he didn't want to do things with me, like go to the movies or go on a walk because he wanted to lay on the couch because he was tired or whatever. I think that's the beauty of it, because at the end of the day, you know, you guys get yourself there, and that success is really on you, as well as your coach and your teammates and things like that. 100%, I'm not taking away with that, especially because I am a coach. I think that the beauty of it is in the details, I guess. And so, in my opinion, I do think it takes away from the beauty of it. But again, that's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
I'm kind of in the middle on this. I kind of see an argument on both sides.
I certainly do see the other side. But my opinion lies on the other.
Look, the beauty of the sport is you put in hard work and you get what you deserve, right? And a lot of people that think that this is wrong and don't agree with it, they just disagree with the use of drugs at all. But the reality is, like, you can't just shoot up steroids and get jacked. You can't just take testosterone and swim fast. Like, you still have to work hard. Like, Kristian worked his ass off for his whole life. And just because he took those steroids and whatever else he took to set those records, in my opinion, it doesn't negate the fact that he's an incredibly hardworking individual. It just doesn't. But some people will, like, you know, they're going to say, he's a cheat. I don't want anything to do with him, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. That's your opinion. That's okay. But I think the beauty of the sport is, you know, putting in your hard work and then getting to represent your team or your country. Like, I don't think that's going away. What's so funny? What's so funny?
Because when we were early on, like, dating, like, Cody gave me a massage one time on my back.
Oh, this is getting...
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. No, and he, like, hit a part, and I thought it tickled, okay? And it was right here. Cody was like, gosh, what was that saying? And I used to make fun of you.
Tickling is the first sign of fatigue.
Yeah. And Ollie... He was like, no, you need it right there. And I was like, no, it tickles. And he was like, it's the first sign of fatigue.
Why did that?
I don't know.
That has nothing to do with
I don't know. Well, because, like...
Oh, my God. Okay.
Do you think people calling the 2089 50 free a world record is disrespectful towards Cesar Cielo?
Not really. Cesar's world record is still the official world record. If you go to the FINA Aqua website, look at the list of world records, it's still the world record. Like, the marketing team at Enhanced keeps calling it the world record, the fastest in history. And technically that's true. Like, technically he is the fastest person that's ever swam the 50-meter distance. But he was on drugs, so it's like, it's an enhanced record. So call it whatever you want. It's just semantics, but I don't think it's disrespectful.
The only way Cody cheats is in Disney in the Buzz Lightyear game.
Shut up.
And I spanked him even though.
Shut up. Don't say the word spank. Oh, my gosh.
Given the prevalence of doping in high-level sports, why is there such a negative reaction?
Two things. Number one, the concern for the perception of the adolescents and kids. And the second one is people are concerned that they're going to do things that are going to hurt, that they're going to hurt athletes. You know, It's like, it's logical concern.
Someone asked me, who's to say Cesar was not doping?
This is a question I got a lot. Like, do you think Cesar was doping? The only reason that you could make an argument for that is he did have a failed drug test. I don't think he was ever suspended or banned or anything like that. So there's like a little bit of a blemish, I guess you would call it, like in his career. But I don't know. How
do you feel about the return of the super suits combined with the performance enhanced drugs?
I don't like the super suits. I don't like them.
Man, I remember those bad boys. I swam in those.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't like the super suits. I think, let's move past that.
I used to have to zip my brother's back up
But
in it.
it is a good point. It's like, well, if you're gonna take drugs, why not put on something that's gonna make you float and go faster? But then at that point, it's like, well, why not wear fins? Why not wear paddles? Like what? You know?
Do you consider it a real world record?
I consider it the juiced up, doped up, enhanced world record. Call it that.
We'll
sure.
call it
But
enhanced.
we'll call it enhanced. Like, it's, again, this is semantics.
Are the world records going to count in the sport of swimming?
No,
they
they're
cannot.
not.
There's no way. It's
Nope.
apples to oranges.
Nope. Yeah, it'll be a completely different thing.
Should enhanced athletes be able to say they are the fastest ever if they beat the world record?
So that's another thing. A lot of people are throwing shade at Kristian for basically saying I'm the fastest in the world. Okay.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, and it's like, it's kind of your right to do that. Like, hey, look, if I go to my local pool and throw on a monofin and swim the fastest 50 freestyle ever with a monofin, I have the right to then go on Instagram and say, hey, I'm the fastest 50 freestyler ever, technically. Like whether that's right or wrong, but you have your right to say whatever you want. You know, it's just, again, it comes down to semantics. It's just like, it's
I can
verbiage.
put on fins and beat you.
You definitely can't. No, you can't.
And now I'm going to brag that I'm faster. Do you think they should also be transparent with what kind of enhancing drugs they use? Yeah. Yes.
I would really like that. Like, I want to know, like, okay, if this first games takes place and they set a bunch of world records, like, I want to know, like, okay, well, what are they doing? Like, are they on steroids? What kind of steroids? What was the cycle? Are they on testosterone? Are they on peptides? Like, what are they doing? But the problem with that is you can't legally disclose that information unless someone is willing to do that. Like, the league can't say you have to disclose your medical information because there's all kind of HIPAA laws and stuff. Like, yeah, so, like, will we know what they're taking? I don't know. And then that becomes the whole question of, like, well, who's on the best juice? You know, like, it used to be, like, who has the best suit? Is it the J-Kid or is it the Mizuno or is it and now it's like, well, you know, it's real squirrely. Allie kind of called it the circus earlier. It's like, well,
yeah.
You're not wrong.
Kinda. What is your opinion on taking part in these games?
If you're an athlete, it's your risk to take if you want to. It's your risk. I mean, if you think that it's something that's going to be around and you want to get paid, like, and you don't have an issue with not competing at any other competitions maybe ever again, even if you're not taking drugs. Again, they said it very clearly in the panel. You don't even have to take drugs. You can just compete with us. You'll be at a severe disadvantage, but you're going to get paid.
Will all athletes who compete here get DQ'd from Olympics, World Aquatics?
Moving forward,
I don't think that they will be able to swim.
You're not going to be able to swim.
Yeah, they're not going to get DQ'd. They're just not going to be able to
compete.
swim.
No, we're talking in swimming terms, but like just in, you know, it's not just swimming, you know.
Good or bad for the sport? Goes back to my teaching, coaching background, working with kiddos. I just think it's a really big risk, almost promoting kids trialing and erring anything at a younger age. We can say, oh yeah, we'll put on a disclaimer and say that, you know, it's not for them or anything like that. But let's be honest, like, kids are going to see it. Kids are going to want to try it. Kids are going to want to do it.
Most of the coaches that I've talked to, they don't like it. Almost every coach that I've talked to says that they don't like it.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Can you give the elevator pitch for the... Ooh.
Oh, so the opposite. If you're an elite athlete and you want to get paid your worth, the Enhanced Games is going to do that. If you're an athlete that wants to reach your absolute full potential through the use of drugs, like, they're going to help you do that.
The most Cody terminology, I'm going to say, the movie quote from Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
Yeah.
It's a money piece. And it's also,
money.
you can do it a longer time than just the Olympics. Because once you hit a certain age, it is a lot harder. Yeah. So this might give them the ability to swim further, swim longer.
Compete longer.
Do PEDs in the Enhanced Games ruin the sport or redefine it?
Let's put it this way. This is hypothetical, but if the Enhanced Games is successful and they break a ton of world records, then it would absolutely redefine
I would say
it.
redefine.
It would absolutely redefine it. That's an if. I don't know. It could. It definitely could.
Cody doesn't have a crystal ball.
We don't know. I think anybody that claims to know the future in general, I'm always skeptical of. Like, if you claim that you just absolutely are certain about something that hasn't happened yet, it's like, okay, like my spidey senses go off. It's like, I don't know. Okay, so I have a policy. I don't read comments almost ever. I sometimes read comments on my own videos and on my own like Instagram. I do not read comments on Swim Swam, literally ever. I used to, I don't. And a big part of that is because throughout my swimming career, there were a lot of negative things said about me. Some of it justified, a lot of it not. And I found that it only ever hurt me like mentally when I read negative things about me. So like I try to avoid that. But I've been reading a lot of the coverage on Swim Swam, and I got to give them credit. They've been like pretty neutral on the whole thing. They've just kind of.
I post all the time.
No, she doesn't.
No, I really don't.
She doesn't.
I don't.
But they've been pretty neutral on their coverage, like not for or against. They're just like, there's this. But anyway, I have a few friends that love the comment section. And there have been a few comments that I saw that were sent to me that I thought we should address. And the first one is this one. And
USA Swimming should never
well, hang on. The name is Big Mike, which means like this person's probably trolling. Like kind of.
It could be me.
No, don't open yourself up to that. Okay, read it.
No,
read it.
I promise you, I actually don't do that. USA Swimming should never allow another GAC to host a big meet ever. I'm so hurt. This is Trump's fault.
So the GAC, that's the Greensboro Aquatic Center. It's one of the most famous pools in America in USA Swimming. It hosts lots of major meets. And there were a number of people that are like, they should never be allowed to have a meet again because they held this time. I'm like, guys, let's not do this. Let's not just, you might not like the games, you might not like this movement. Let's not just attack people. Like, let's be kind. The reason I brought this up is because like, let's be nice to people. Don't go attacking Kristian. Don't go attacking these athletes because they're making decisions similar to what Kristian's wife said.
Yeah.
It's a business decision.
It's best for
them.
their family.
And you can have your opinion on the morals and ethics of all of it, but like you've just got to be kind. Like you just got to be nice. So like when I saw this stuff, I kind of laughed, but I'm like, there are people that are actually saying that. It's like, yo.
Jonathan says, if USA Swimming is serious about this, will they ban Greensboro Aquatic Center from hosting future sanctioned meets like the Pro Swim Series, U.S. National Championships, and the U.S. Open? I don't really think this has anything to do with the facility.
It's just silly. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. They're an aquatic facility that got paid money to host an event.
I was going to say, I don't really think that this is a facility issue.
It's a non-question. Yeah, it just kind of highlights like some people are like really passionate about how they feel about this. That's another reason why I wanted to do this podcast and talk about it. It's because people feel strongly one way or the other, and I think it's like really layered. I think it's really, really layered.
Yeah, and everybody sees it from a little different angle. And I think understanding other people's angles, like reading her post about, her and her husband's decision to do this is eye-opening because, I mean, we can sit in our cushy little couches all day long and have our opinions, but asking somebody else why they might feel that way or do that, then I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think that's important to grow in any aspect of life.
Yeah. I think people need to be understanding and be nice.
We're very understanding.
But we're living.
More me.
We're living in an interesting time. As I said at the beginning of this video, I've never done this before, but go ahead and comment down below on any one of the questions if you have another question, and I will respond to it. I will open up the dialogue with anybody that wants to talk about this because I find it absolutely fascinating. I will engage with this. So let us know what you think down there below. Are there questions that we missed that need to be addressed? Are there concerns? Are there pros that we missed? Like, what do you think? Let us know down there below. See you later.